Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show. From Peterson's, I'm your host, Taylor Sienkiewicz, and you're listening to You Have a Cool Job, a podcast highlighting those who took their profession in a unique direction and what they did to get there. On this week's episode of You Have a Cool Job, we talked to wedding photography duo Casey Wigotow and Vanessa Miranda. The two run 2-1 Photography, which Casey started 10 years ago before Vanessa joined her. To start things off, Casey tells the story of how she got into photography and launched her business.
So 2-1 began in the winter of 2009, and I was working in finance, and it just wasn't very challenging for me, and I was looking for something else. I was working as an executive assistant, so it wasn't like my dream job. And I was at a wine tasting at the Manor House in Littleton, and some friends who are wedding photographers there called Brinton Studios. They're amazing. They've been really successful throughout time, and they were booking so many weddings that they were turning a bunch away. So they were looking to kind of train somebody and to turn them into kind of their style of photographer so they could send the business that they couldn't book because you only have so many Saturdays or Fridays or Sundays, in a year that everything else you have to turn away. So basically what happened is we were at the wine tasting and we were saying, oh, do you want to come and be a third photographer? And I was like, yeah, I've never done it before in my life, but yeah, absolutely, I'd love to try. And I was just trying different things just to try and figure out what I wanted to do. And so I started going as a third photographer with them, and I just loved it. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed into, well, why don't we start this company called 2-1 Photography, where you shoot the weddings and then go from there. So I shot maybe a handful of weddings with the Brintons as a third shooter, and then I just went off on my own. And the first wedding that I did was at Winter Park Resort, and you take the chairlift up, and I was so terrified because I still really had no idea what I was doing at that point. And that wedding today is still their marketing material. So it just, from that wedding, it just kind of like snowballed and took off. And our deal was for 4 years. They basically taught me everything I needed to know, introduced me to people in the industry, helped me with my equipment, did a bunch of different things. And then January 1st, 2014, 2-1 Photography was no longer under Brinton, especially with the state of Colorado. It closed and then opened up under my name. So I've personally owned it since 2014.
I asked the two when and how they decided to partner up, which is where Vanessa jumped in.
So we were chatting 3 years ago. I was in a similar situation where, I was doing, kind of going through the 9 to 5, and I felt like, I think we all kind of hit that time in our 20s where we're like, I just feel like there's something more, and I feel like I can tap into something else, but I don't know how to get there. And so Casey and I have been friends for about 10 years. And, one night, probably drinking Chardonnay, we were just kind of chatting about how it doesn't have to look like the 9 to 5 all the time. And, we have that security of the every 2 weeks getting that paycheck. But if you decide to make that look different, you can be super successful. And obviously Casey was a great model to that. So I expressed the fact that I was interested in photography just because I had wanted to kind of have some creative outlets that I didn't know how to express. And so it kind of started as like, let me come second shoot with you and just kind of see what it's all about. I want to kind of learn a little bit more about the camera and how to shoot manually. And then after, a couple times of second shooting, I really enjoyed it. And then that kind of idea started to blossom a little bit. And Casey at that time was getting to the point with where the Brintons were years ago that she was having to turn some of that away to other photography companies, just because one person can only shoot so many weddings. And so we started talking about this associate program where it just partnered so well where, with that market of photography, it's so hard to start your own business and start from scratch and build that clientele. So it was so great to have, the umbrella of 2-1 learn her technique and how 2-1's photography looks, and then have that support of finding finding that clientele and being able to kind of blossom there. And then she was still able to keep that business within 2-1. So it just the partnership of what I was able to get out of the experience and what she was able to get out of the experience within her business was just made total sense. And then it just absolutely worked out that we had the relationship that we did, because it's one of those things with like roommates, like you could be best friends outside of that, but if you're roommates, it just doesn't work. Yeah. And so luckily we had this relationship where, our personalities are very much similar, but we have certain things that, she's very strong at and I, could use some work on or whatever it is. So we complement each other, I think, really well within all of that and just have a great communication. So it just ended up working out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been really good ever since. And now, so this year we have a little over 50 weddings booked and a bunch of different corporate shoots and conferences and portraits and all that. So it's been great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you didn't have any photography background?
No, neither one of us
did. You didn't either? Okay.
No. It was one of those things like, you're going to be thrown into the fire and that's how you're going to learn. And if you don't learn that.
And boy, do you. You just, you got to figure it out.
Pressure. Yeah. You just have to figure it out and you have to do the best you can.
And since then, so you kind of complement that experience and just say, what do I want to work on? What am I struggling with? And then we've complemented those with different courses that I've had to take with lighting or different techniques with the camera to expand that experience. So it's been kind of then a mix of courses but you just learn so much when you're in the field like that. Just
Well, and with wedding photography, we both learned going into wedding photography. We didn't go to school for it. We didn't do classes. And I also kind of feel like doing classes, yes, you 100% should go to school for it. Go do everything with it. But in weddings, everything is constantly changing. The dynamics are constantly different. The lighting, the people, the
weather,
the day, the weather, every single thing. So I don't think you can prepare enough to go into a situation because it's always going to change. So you always have to be able to learn that it's going to be fluid and it's going to be flexible. I think that's what's really grown both of us as photographers just in any realm, is that we've had to be forced to learn, oh my God, it's pouring rain and it's really dark inside where the reception is, and how are we going to figure this out? And
it's a lot more experience based.
Mm-hmm. Or the bride's having a meltdown.
She's having a meltdown and we have to counsel her.
Yeah, we have 20 minutes till the ceremony time. So makes you think on your feet, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you kind of stepped into wedding photography then, but what do you like about it and about specifically doing weddings?
My favorite part about doing weddings is just being kind of in the middle of a family and a special day that you don't know really anything about the family and all of the guests, but you're literally in the middle of it. So just to be able to capture these moments for these people that they'll have for the rest of their lives. There's been a couple times where we've done the wedding and then a couple days later we get a phone call where like the father of the bride or something passes away, and the only photograph that they had was from the wedding. And so to be able to capture these moments where it's the best days of their lives and they can remember these things and they just have to look at a photograph. And to me, that's the most important thing, and be able to have a connection with these people and capture that.
Yeah. What's it like to be part of these people's like best day of their lives, but you don't know them at all?
Yeah.
You just kind of have to submerge yourself in
it. You just have to go for it. And we always try to, a lot of times we'll have engagement sessions prior to, so you get to know a little bit more about their story. And of course you're communicating that with them months before. And a lot of times we'll just go have coffee or a glass of wine with them just to get to know them, because it is hard to step into that. And I mean, you see everything. You're a part of the goods and the bads of the day. And it's a very overwhelming day because there's family involved and different dynamics and emotion and all sorts of stuff that's happening. So you have to really have that comfortability with the couple. So, but there's definitely been times where, it hasn't worked out, where we have an out of town couple coming in and the only time that we're able to meet them is the day of their wedding. So you just have to make them feel comfortable. And, cause that's when you get the best footage, is when they're not so conscious about the fact that there's a camera in their face, because those in between moments or those candids that we're taking kind of actually tells the story instead of just like the family formals,
Right. Yeah. We always say to people, it's, you want it to be such a personal day and the best day of your life. So you don't want it to necessarily feel like it's just a business transaction. It's more of a personal connection. And that's when you feel more comfortable. And just in general with portrait photography, whatever photography it is, as long as you have this connection, because you can feel so uncomfortable in front of a camera. And you're like, what do I do? How do I understand? But as long as you can like interact and just kind of make it fun, that's kind of what we go for.
A lot of times we find ourselves being really good friends with the couple after that and staying in contact and having future glasses of wine with them. So that just shows you that that connection really is more than that transaction there.
Yeah, it's genuine. What are some of your guys' favorite shoots that you've done?
Well, I would say this isn't weddings, but last fall I got to go to Monaco and do a President's Club trip, kind of like a top sellers and a sales company trip. And that was really fun because we got to go explore and take photos of what everyone was doing. But I've gotten to do weddings kind of all over the world and that kind of thing, which is amazing to travel. But the best ones are the ones that you connect with the people and you can actually feel them like dancing with their dad or the moments with the two of them. And you just have these like moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best. This is what life's about, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know what you think.
I would say, I think those destination weddings, especially when we're able to travel, whether it's just to the mountains or wherever we're going. And, Casey and I, the way that we work together and that kind of thing, it's nice to kind of be away and then kind of have that full experience away from just the standard norm.
So tell me a little bit more about the business of a photography business. Is it just booking these clients, and how do you kind of get certain clients and how does it all work?
So basically the process, luckily we've been around for 10 years now, so we have gotten ourselves on different vendor lists and we know a lot of the vendors and venues around town, and you end up shooting different groups of friends' weddings. I've shot entire groups of friends' weddings.
Yeah.
So for us, thankfully now, it's more word of mouth and referral and posting things on Facebook. So kind of the process is they get our information, reach out, and we get together with them. We talk over the phone. We just get to know each other and make sure our styles go together. And then from there, just kind of the contract and on and engagement photos and onto the wedding and the whole process.
And what they're looking for in a photographer, because there's so many different styles out there. Yeah. What people are, and we focus a little bit more on, natural light and then a fresh photo that's not over edited and that kind of thing. And you just never know what someone's looking for. So just making sure that you find that match, because you don't just want to get any client. It's making sure that you're delivering exactly what their vision is. Yeah. Which is super important.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of times people ask us the question, like, what is your style? And you can have light and airy, you can have dark, you can have soft, whatever it is. But to us, I think our style is more, it depends on your wedding day, because we're there to capture what you want and the vision that you have. And yeah, the lighting's going to change, and yeah, whatever happens. But we want to capture their story and their emotions, and that's more important to us rather than being like, our photos are light and airy, and so they're going to be really
no matter what.
Like this. And no, it might be crazy harsh light that day, but we're going to capture how you guys feel and the photos that you guys wanted.
We'll get back to Casey and Vanessa's story right after this. Are you searching for the right college, grad school, or trade school to fit your needs? Or are you studying for those entrance exams you need a good score on? Peterson's has you covered. With advanced college and scholarship search functions, test prep for everything from the SAT to the MCAT to the firefighter exams, and tons of free resources on our blog, Peterson's helps you find, get in, and pay for school, plus much more. Visit petersons.com today. Now, back to the show. Casey shared that she is getting married herself this month, ironically to Vanessa's brother. I asked her what it's like to be on the other side of the wedding photography process.
It's actually been really cool. I think that for me, I've been on the other side for so long. I'm always so excited for every single bride and couple. But now that feeling like all the love that comes with it and all the excitement that really genuinely you feel and comes with it, I'm so excited to be on the other side now. Yeah. I will say I tell everyone to be on top of booking things, and I've been a little slow with that because I'm like, it's all going to work out. It's all going to be fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun being on the other side, and it's given me a different perspective now that I'm in like the act of booking planning. Yeah.
Well, I think one of Casey's was a great lesson for what we do. I mean, the biggest thing that we harp on is that once we get an inquiry, we get back to them right away. And it's really important because there's so many times you'll throw things out to vendors and you don't hear from them for a week. And so you want to feel like you are on the top of their list. And so one with like the response time with that, but also, she's working with a lot of people in Charleston and vendors in Charleston. And, when we are talking to our brides and grooms, we really want to make sure that it's not just like, we don't want them to feel like we are doing this 50 times a year. We want to make them feel like they're the only wedding that we have, and we're focused on that. And I think Casey has gone through a couple different situations where it's kind of just like they're not really asking too much about you and Jeff or whatever it is. So I think people really, you value that, and we're kind of wanting to chat. This is the biggest day of your life. And so you want to chat about that and feel connected with those vendors. And so I think you see the value in what we're able to provide to some of those clients on connecting on that level.
Yeah. So I guess, one of the biggest things would be connecting and communication. Right. And just getting close with somebody, even if you don't even meet them ever, just because it is such a special day and special time. So
this is just reinforcing what you guys are doing well.
Yeah. And how important it is to be on top of communicating.
Yeah, totally. And backtracking a little bit to when you started the business. So when you broke off from those two, did you kind of have your network already, or did you need to do more marketing? Like, how has it grown for you two?
Well, since we've broken off from the Brentons, we definitely had a network that helped us grow and helped us with booking. But I haven't really done too much marketing. Yeah. So at that point, it was all word of mouth, I guess, and just different clients. And the Manor House has been an amazing venue. It's a beautiful wedding venue. And they've really preferred us a lot of business and done a lot. So with marketing, we've definitely revamped the website. We've updated our marketing materials. And in the off season, that's kind of what we're always doing, is updating everything and making sure we're changing with the times and have all the newest marketing material or pricing, whatever it is out. So but luckily we already had a big base of clients, and that just kept growing. And especially now with Vanessa, there were definitely some Saturdays you'll get 12 leads, but you can only book one.
As small business owners who jumped into a field they were originally unfamiliar with, I asked Casey and Vanessa what they've learned about small business and the field of photography.
Running a business, I would say the biggest thing I've learned is just no one's going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you're diligent. I mean, as a photographer, as a small business, just in general, like, you're the photographer, you're the editor, you're the accountant, you're the marketer, you're the business, like, you're the face of the business. You meet with everyone, so you do every single thing. Mm-hmm. And for us, we just have to make sure to be on top of it and communicate and just be so organized. I guess that's one of the big words, is being organized with it, especially with so many different clients. Yeah. So that is definitely the biggest thing with learning how to run a business. And then with photography, for me, it's just always changing. So to always keep learning new things and different editing techniques or lighting techniques or whatever it is, because everyone does it differently too.
Yeah, you don't want to be complacent with anything. I would say, going off of that, I think coming from a 9-to-5 where you have your structure, you have your workspace, you have, just the way that you do things every day, changing that model a little bit more and coming in and finding your own process and your own way of organizing your day. And if you're working from home and editing for, 8 hours and then blogging and doing all these different things, it's been interesting for me to find the different motivation and trying to organize myself to, when you're at home, it's like, oh, the dishwasher needs to be unloaded. So it's like
the work from home issues.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone kind of goes through that weird transition. So it's like removing yourself from that and going to a coffee shop for a couple hours and just formatting your day, like, from 10 to 11, I'm doing this. And, but every day kind of looks different, whether it's, whether we just shot a wedding, we need to edit it, or blogging or social media or whatever it is, there's always something to do.
Casey and Vanessa dove into a new career when they weren't satisfied with their current work life and are able to be part of special moments 50 times per year. We hope you're inspired by Casey and Vanessa's story to try something new yourself. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.